Hello and welcome to the fantastic city of Las Vegas in Nevada, USA for the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. It's the entertainment capital of the world, giving home to curling yet again, but a first ever World Championship for what many call America's playground. And what better setting is there to host the world's best curling players in the Orleans Arena? It's time for the evening draw, and we'll get started just before the sun sets over the Mojave Desert. My name is Sander Ulvåg, and I'm joined by two-time Olympian Anne Swisshelm. Good evening, Anne.
Good evening, Sander.
Scotland, Japan will play in session 14 as things are really shaping up in the round-robin stages of this World Championship. Seeing the teams enter the field of play. Scotland closely following Canada, Japan in behind. We'll have two pretty young teams feature in our live broadcast this evening. A debut for both, and this is the lineup for Scotland. At lead we have Hammy McMillan. Throwing second stones is Bobby Lammy. At third we have Grant Hardy, and Team Scotland is skipped by Bruce Mowat.
And they will be matched against Koji Nisato at lead, Ryotaro Shikuya at second, Masaki Iwai, he's the skip, he throws third stones, and Go Aoki, he throws the brick for Japan, 18-year-old.
You see the standing Sweden on top with 7 wins. Canada, Scotland and Norway follow closely at 6 wins. So definitely Scotland with pretty much a ticket to the playoffs already if they can pick up another win or two. But Japan all the way down at 2 wins and 6 losses. Of course, an unknown lineup for most. They've impressed by winning 2 games, but they would have to win the rest to have any chance of making it through to the top 6. These are the other games in the arena this evening. Netherlands play Canada. Of course, Scotland and Japan is our main focus, while Germany takes on Korea. Also, Norway will play Switzerland. We'll keep you up to date on what happens elsewhere as we go through the games. 10 ends scheduled for all games this evening. Well, the ice is ready. Teams have had their pre-game practice.
Yeah, we are on sheet B, and after that pre-game practice, Scotland had an extraordinary last stone draw. It is the challenge at the end of each team's practice to see who gets the last stone advantage. And this young team, hard-charging team from Scotland, is absolutely incredible. And there's a couple of Paralympians from Scotland enjoying the match here, cheering them on. And Japan really showing signs of absolute brilliance and becoming used to playing here in an arena setting. This is their first arena championship. This will be a really interesting game. Scotland needs to keep their focus. The playoffs are absolutely within their grasp, and it's not only the top 6 which make the playoffs. The 1-2 spot is available to Scotland if they hold their winning ways. Scotland, they are throwing the Red Rocks today. Japan opens, they're throwing the yellow stones.
Well, this game is just about to get underway, and it is lead for Japan. Koji Nisato to throw the first stone, 37 years of age. It's a bit of a mix of old and young for Team Japan.
Yeah, they've got a real complement of players spanning a couple of different decades. One of the really unique things about this team from Japan is that they went to university together, veterinary school. an agriculture school in Japan. And you've got 2 veterinarians out on the ice.
Here's a Hammy McMillan, lead for Scotland. Son of world champion with the same name, Hammy McMillan Sr.
Yes, it is a very well-known name, but the young Hammy McMillan, he's doing everything he can to make a name for himself out here at this World Championship.
He's played at quite a few different positions up through the years, but seeming to settle in quite nicely at lead for this team. They've been on a roll so far.
Yeah, he has had an outstanding championship. Set the table nicely. Koji Nisato from Japan is going to have his hands full in the head-to-head matchup. Oh, and he answers quite nicely with a draw into the top 8 foot underneath that centerline guard. So for Scotland, one of the things that they've been doing so beautifully throughout this event is taking control of the angles. If they continue to do that, the vision of their skip, Bruce Mowat, just extraordinary. It's all about their setup shots from their front end. It starts right here, and this one comes up a little bit light. A bit of an uncharacteristic miss there for the young McMillan is Ryotaro Shikuya. Puts his first stone in play. And this is a little spicy. Wanting to freeze right into the stone on the forefoot. Just adrenaline and momentum gets that stone all the way through the back of the house. He'll have to make an adjustment as he goes through. Learn from that first shot.
Yeah. Control. Okay.
There's Bobby Lammy. I'll be looking to tidy things up a wee bit here.
Let it go.
Only member of the team that was World Junior Champion and also Winter University Games winner with Bruce Mowat. Grant Hardy and McMillan coming in later to form this men's team.
Now the Japanese skip, Masaki Iwai, running through a couple of the different options. The setup changed somewhat. Now this is when we see if Ryotaro can make the adjustment necessary for weight. His last one went right through the back of the rings.
See the rules of play. 6 ends is the minimum to be played, although the game is scheduled for 10, 38 minutes of thinking time for both teams. And there's 1/62 time that you can call if ever in trouble, either needing a second opinion or some extra time on the clock. Again, Bobby Lammy will be running this back, bit more weight this time. Make sure he can spill a few rocks. Just want to keep that forefoot open. It's a pretty good result, even though he takes out his own shot stone.
Yeah, he's shaking his head, but actually look at what is left after this. Double run back, take out, spills the shooters. that corner guard could come into play. Japan's going to hit to sit 3. But Scotland is not afraid of the opposition rocks. And this one by Masaki Iwai will not deter Scotland from their goal here, which is to score 2 points with that last stone advantage. And there we see it. There's the call. He sees the corner guard. He'll take advantage of it.
It's a lot of ice to me, but I'm not sure.
No, I like it.
We'll have our first look at Grant Hardy. 26 years old.
You kill that.
Didn't kill it, man.
You sure?
Didn't kill it.
Just good.
I think you can go, Harvey.
Line's
I
good.
think you can go away.
Really gotta go.
Hard then. Top it. Perfect.
Line's getting good.
Really gotta go.
Come on then.
Hard.
Hard
Just
to bend
in.
into.
Just
All
in.
right then.
He's full
Can't
12.
happen.
Full
Nearly
12,
full
you
stone
good.
in. Full stone. Hard.
Bend it, Harvey. Bend it. Hard, hard, hard.
I think you killed that. Did kill it.
So what did he mean by killing it?
I think it's at release, kind of he takes a little bit of the weight off. So he was sliding a little too quickly and decelerated a bit on his release, took some of the momentum off the stone, and he said, I didn't kill it, which meant he didn't take too much off, but it turns out the adjustment was a little much, and Scotland comes up light on that draw. Japan trying to tuck another stone underneath those guards. But with that stagger, Bruce Mount can play a little hit and roll and
Control. I don't mind this.
Okay.
Try and keep it above T.
cause some trouble.
Don't mind hit and roll.
Yep.
I like it.
Control. Yep.
Weight's nice.
Touch heavy. Heavy. Heavy.
Well, Grant Hardy will
Touch heavy.
try and make up for the first stone. Calling on Lamy to get some extra curl on this one. It's just not going to move enough for Scotland. Sits in the open. Leaves the same hit and roll back for Japan.
Go Aoki. He is the youngest fourth stone thrower in the field, 18-year-old high school student. And he sets up a situation where his team's sitting 4 in the opening end against one of the top performing teams in the field. Was hoping for a roll there.
Try a little dead buried in the
Right,
yellow.
dead buried's perfect there. Dead buried.
Yeah, just show an inch would be the best, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Batter's perfect. Take it here, Les? Oh, yeah.
Here's Bruce Mount, skip for Scotland.
Nice weight. Weight's good.
Had a cracking start to the season. Went over to Canada, to Oakville. 1-2 tournaments there, undefeated, back-to-back.
Yeah, and then they won just a couple of weeks ago in Aberdeen again. So the bookend of their season would be a stellar performance here at the World Championship. And it might start with a shot just like this. They said they wanted to roll dead buried, and that's pretty much what they did.
Won the right to represent Scotland by first, winning the Scottish Championship. Also undefeated, and went on to play a challenge versus the Olympic team of Kyle Smith. Won the first one, had an 8-foot draw to win the second, lost that, but won the third game. So best out of 3, wins 2, gets here, and they've done well so far.
The only game they've lost is to the top-seeded team currently, Sweden, and that was a 1-point affair, a very back-and-forth, real close game. So now Go Aoki with a helicopter of a throw on this counterclockwise rotating shot.
Was he throwing that amount of rotation on purpose to try and drag it towards the shot stone?
Yeah, I think so. That one was. You'll notice that he does throw a ton of rotation on that out turn when he throws up weights or that counterclockwise rotation. You see how much rotation he's hoping to hold that rock straight.
He actually touched it, so you curl a fraction less, you probably get that shot stone going. He's had to be pretty snug to the top red.
I take an inch.
So that leaves a draw
Same way to draw.
for Scotland.
10.
Place there.
I still think we're all there, Bruce.
Yeah, you've got no backing yet.
Backing.
No backing. T-line. T-line. Still no backing, boys.
Yeah, we're fine.
Coming down.
We're fine. Good, Bruce.
Sweepers seem quite happy with this one. Will settle on the forfeit. 2 points for Scotland. Good start for Bruce Mowat and team. That's the score, 2-0 after one end.
Alright, nice. Good. Nice skippers too there.
So that's a couple of dodgy ones there.
Same as Joshua.
The second end is underway. Scotland taking on Japan. Good start for the Scots, scoring 2 in the first end. Hammy Macmillan will throw the first stone in this second end.
Yeah, that opening two absolutely generated by the skips 2 stones. Hit and roll by Bruce Mowat, followed up with the draw to the forefoot. And now this dictates their choices here. They're up in the scoreboard. They want the rocks in the rings.
Well, corner guard up by Japan. Perhaps a tad long, but we'll jump over to Norway, Switzerland, and the first end. Looks like Switzerland is lying 3. So this is a nose hit for skip Stefan Wallstad of Norway to score 1. Actually looking to play the hit and roll off of the winger here. Can't hit the centerline stone for shot, but this is starting to curl. Wågberg trying to hold it for the skip, but actually over curls so much it's going to leave a steal of 3 for Switzerland. What a mistake by Wallstad in the first end. Not a good shot there, and the Swiss are up 3-0.
Nice judge, boys.
And on our feature sheet, Scotland's Hammy McMillan set up a perfect guard, and now Koji Nisato needs to navigate around his own corner guard, try and hide a rock in the rings.
Well, the free guard zone is not longer in motion. Scotland looking to keep it simple here. We'll just peel the corner. That is made by Bobby Lammy. There is the coach for the team, Alan Hanna. He's also coaching the Scottish junior team at the World Junior Championship in Aberdeen.
And they had an excellent showing there.
Picked up the silver medal, just losing out to Canada in the final.
And that's J.D. Lind, coach for Team Japan.
Yes, James Douglas Lind started his coaching career quite early, just out of juniors, moved to Japan. And he's been there for a number of years now, overseeing most of what happens at the top level of curling there, also picking up some glossaries. If we get him for a timeout, we might hear him communicating in a mixture of English and Japanese. Looking for the slash here, Bobby Lammy, quite unfortunate to just jam it. Leaves Japan lying second shot.
This is the 4th time in a row that Ryotaro throws the in-turn, the clockwise rotating draw. Dragging this one as far as they can, right into the rings. And a great sweep from Nisato.
Nice sweep. Here down. So he's good. Here down.
So the little run takeout using their own stone. It's a 2-foot run back.
Hard ball. Okay.
We'll make the run back.
And they leave their shooter as a guard.
Netherlands play Canada.
Canada sitting 1 in the back of the 8-foot for Jaap van Dorp.
Heck. Air down. Clean. Heck. Yep. Hard. Horse. Horse, Carlo. Horse. Yep, them. Horse. Go. Horse.
I was looking to maybe even score a 3 there. But in the end, looks like only the 1. That is the score. 1-0 for Jaap van Dorp. Won't get too many chances like that against Brankushu.
Looking for the skinny hit and stick. Japan trying so hard to get to that stone of Scotland. So that stone that's biting the top of the 4-foot, that was the first rock put in play this end, and it's still there. Hasn't been touched, hasn't been moved.
Scotland will ignore the yellow stone on the wing. Played the draw. Maybe even freeze the yellow stone on the center line here.
Yeah, I think they're called to the back stone. Looking to take those stones out of play by freezing to the back one.
This is way short, so trying to freeze their own instead. It's in the end, not a bad result. Would have been a lot worse bouncing off, leaving a double for Japan. So the run double instead for UI.
Yeah, and one of the things you got to like about the Japanese team is they genuinely seem to enjoy the shots they get. Like, no matter how hard they are, no matter the situation, there's lots of smiles. They handle the pressure pretty well, and they are trying to take advantage of this opportunity of learning how to play on arena ice. Sweepers are on this right away. Let's grab the center line. They've lost the line, but they've opened it up.
Same call for Scotland. Freeze that back yellow.
Tell you what, he's no far away from the same throw he gave his last shot.
He is the same throw, I think, Carl, to be honest.
Tell you what, you're pretty much the same throw you gave us.
Yep, same throw as your last. It's good, Bruce.
We'll make it.
Your eyes there.
Lock it right on the back.
Aye.
So is this more about making sure you're not giving up more than 1?
Yeah, they're willing to concede 1. They're willing to give up a single point in order to get that hammer back. They are all about the numbers. That hammer efficiency, scoring 2 points or more when they've got last stone advantage, and forcing their opponents to a single point when they don't.
Let's talk tagging. Back 12. Back 12. Close. It's coming down now. We're still heavy. Still match. Still heavy. Line only. Line only. Line only.
Bump in a foot. Bump in a foot.
Come down. Come down.
Good, Bruce.
That's pretty good there by Bruce Mowat.
Yeah, and that's extraordinary communication. All the way down the sheet, back and forth, take nothing for granted. There's no letdown of communication from the Scottish team.
じゃ飛ばないと間違えてチップしたりしたら最悪だからね。まあステイだな。ステイだね。これはステイだ。この序盤でそれ狙うの危険すぎる。ステイだ。悩むそんな悩まなくてもいい。そんな悩むシチュエーションじゃない。相手までだって相手まだワンツースリーでしょ。このドロー見てたら4点目で。まあダメだ。さすがに厳しいですね。ああ。トップで前割ればよくね。ダブルすれば。でいいと思う。それやったらドローは厳しいよちょっと。ちょっとね。ドローは厳しいよ。
So after quite a bit of discussion, Japan has decided on the double takeout. There's a couple of options. They're just talking about what's their best way to kind of take some control in this game, generate a couple of points. So Go Aoki wants the double takeout.
Well, this is his controlled weight. And will make the double, sit right on the center line.
Yeah, and now the situation for Team Scotland is if they should have something go wrong with their rock, Japan might have a chance at more than 2 points. It's going to be tough, but when you're playing a great team like the young squad from Scotland, these guys are going to need to come up with some fantastic shot opportunities.
No, they're looking to play the draw. Honestly, I'm not sure if I would dare playing Go Aoki and his upweight ability. Could you not maybe just play the hit and roll off the top one? Or would that leave a tap for 2 in the back?
It's possible. They don't want to score 2.
Well, taking the risk here, Bruce Mowat, as we take a look at Netherlands, Canada. It is the Canadians with last stone. A delicate hit for 2, Anne?
Yeah, it is an opportunity for Brad Gushue to get on the board with 2 points in an even end. It's a counterclockwise rotating takeout, just even backline weight. They do have to navigate a center guard. They are playing the board sheet over on A. This spot runs fairly straight, but bends after the hog line. And Jeff Walker going to try and help it bend. Did he get it enough? They do.
Yep, 2 points for Canada. They strike right back. 2-1 lead after 2 ends. As we just saw, Bruce Mowat coming up a bit shy, nudges off the top yellow, sits for 2. Looks like a pretty awkward angle for a double, but is it maybe there for a couple?
Yeah, it might be there for 2. Could be there for 3 if you can somehow stick your shooter. But knowing the weight that Go Aoki throws, well, they're not going to attempt it. They're going to go with the safe option. Not only has Go Aoki had really wonderful upweight takeouts, he's also made quite a few draws against several points.
Actually, a little bit surprised not to see them give it a go. Felt like it's pretty natural to make the slash for 2.
Yeah, and if you get lucky, you might
I think
get
if
3.
you're lucky, you might even just skinny the back red for 3.
I know they are afraid of going down by 3 points. They know that that is probably game, set, match. So
this is the classic junior restraint, thinking, well, we want to, but we'll try and be smart, draw for our 1.
Well, I think it's let's keep this team as close as possible. And here's that huge finish of that stone. They get it around. They do. And what a draw from Go Aoki right on the lid. This kid is got ice in his veins.
Yeah, that is 1 point for Japan. So after 2 ends of play, it is a 2-1 lead for Scotland here in the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas.
I really good. That way was good. You like, we like that way. The last one. Last one, 12.
Sweet one. It's good slide speed.
What? Eh? Oh, it's mental. You were saying that. How does that happen? It's all done, boys. We can use those corners as well.
Team Japan gets its going in the third end. You're watching live coverage from the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, World Men's Curling Championship. It's a 2-1 game for Scotland.
Wondering if Grant was going to go for the hit there, move the hammer. His team called him off and said, no, 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 no. Japan's right. We go hard for the 2 points when we have the last stone.
On your brush, short of it. Tight. Just past your brush.
When you can.
When you can. On your net.
Just leave it.
Hammy kind of put a little bit of a spin on that. And carried a little farther than it normally does on its own. So the sweepers didn't need it. Didn't need any. Didn't need to help it there.
Okay. 37です。38番。
入っちゃってもいいよ。
Koji Nisato will try and protect his shot stone by throwing the guard.
Koji Nisato's pregame warm-up is absolutely intense. He ran lap after lap after lap in underneath the bowl of this arena today in preparation for this game, and it seemed to work out well. Look at that setup.
Well, hopefully he has enough energy to go 10 rounds with Scotland.
And if need be, 11. There's always a possibility of an extra end in this game.
There's a possibility of 2 extra ends even.
Yes, there are.
Don't see that very often though.
You do not.
No. Like, Bobby only. Top 12. Top 8. Got a lot of curling to do.
Come in now.
No. All Bob.
Looking to come straight around the corner here, Scotland. Ignore those yellow stones. So certainly wanting to push the offense a bit as we just take a look over at Norway, Switzerland. It's a draw for 3 for Norway to score right back, tie up the game after incredibly a hogged stone, a hog line violation by Mark Pfister on his first one. Was looking to make up for it with a double on his second. Couldn't make that, so that leaves Norway scoring 3 if they can make this one. Look pretty happy with it. Just keeping the brushes down. Bring this into the rings, and it's a tied game. 6 points up the board already after 2 ends of play.
And on our feature sheet, some misfortune for Japan. The Japanese stone is open and available for Bobby Lammy to hit. Just half the stone, roll to the other side of the house.
Clean. Well done. Yep. Well done. Hard. Yep. Hard. Yep. Hard.
They just need half that stone
Hard. Hard. Hard.
Good
and a
Bobby.
roll.
Okay, just mid.
So they talked about the weight being just a hair down.
バンパーちょっと見えてないから、
Good shot.
Yeah, shot.
Nose. Same way. Okay.
Fresh right here.
Just get your race. Get more weight. Your mark finished down.
So this is the first time we've seen this spot on the ice, this wide
Very good.
takeout.
Tommy. Weight's perfect. 3 hard. Right to it. Whoa. Scratch.
Running a little bit straight here. It finishes nicely, especially with that kind of weight. And Scotland can throw really up weight, but they use that control, delicate takeout weight to such success. By using the control weight, they keep their sweepers engaged in all the shots. They can really impact the outcome. And you'll hear that laughter a ton from this Japanese team. And it's got to be such a joy for this Japanese skip to be out here with his university friend, Koji Nisato.
It's going to be slow out here, Grant. I think they're giving us a
Yeah, you know, out here you're
3 solid, I think.
solid 3.
Yeah.
Bro, keep your brushes down.
I think the points there. Yeah, 3 through the rushes. Yeah.
If you're 95, you're not bad, Chilo, either.
Okay. Come down. Yep.
Toppy. Hard then. Oh, he's good. Hard then, boys. Hard.
He goes hard. He's going to go all the way. Really
Hard,
short.
right. Let go.
He's good,
Short. Hard. Hard. Anywhere in.
Hard, line's really good.
So Lammy and McMillan working so hard to get paint on this. And for the second time, Grant Hardy comes up a little bit short with that stone. Remember, this was the stone that they said he killed in the first end.
Well, he didn't think so.
Yeah.
Sweepers did.
So now you've got to wonder, a guy who is playing absolutely beautiful curling. He is one of the top performing skips here at the event, thirds here at the event. Is that rock? Is that rock a little bit slower?
Could be, but there was also a new path they were playing there.
It was a new path.
Something to keep an eye on. Of course, they have the opportunity to match stones in the evening practice the night before.
Yeah, which the Scottish team has their 5th, Ross Patterson, do with their coaching staff. And they do have the pregame practice, but every now and then a stone can fool you. So that's the situation now.
Yeah.
Can you go under the other yellow fine?
Huh?
Does it go under the other yellow fine?
No. I don't think, well, you won't let in.
Does it go right
Do
under
we
the
hit
yellow?
that yellow? Do we hit the top yellow if we play the roll?
This one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we can't make it then. Can't play it.
This shot, that's the only shot, I think.
Okay,
Do we
so
hit off the back of that top yellow?
No, that's nowhere
right,
near.
okay.
Okay.
Fuck me, that was hard.
3/4.
But wait.
Normal.
Control.
Control.
Okay, if you want.
Same ice though. He's nice.
Little heavy, heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Whoa.
Almost normal.
Whoa. Whoa.
This has been a little bit of a straighter spot in the ice. Do they get the double? Oh, they do not. And they do not roll their shooter on. And now with staggered guards on the side of the forefoot, there's an opportunity for Team Japan to tuck a rock underneath that would be difficult to access for Team Scotland. So that draw slips just to the back of the forefoot. Scotland's looking at skipper's deuce once again. Bruce Mowat needs to follow that rock down. He'd like to sit above the tee line, fully shot.
Probably a hair more release, same side speed.
Okay, I got 13-1 on.
They're soft. It comes down like hell.
We'll see the rock clock come up on the screen.
Wait's good. Line over the snow.
Talking about the hog-to-hog splits they had on Japan, saying their throws a little bit softer,
Pretty close.
No, can't go, Grant.
meaning with more rotation from Bruce Mowat, might run a bit quicker than Japan. 13-9.
No, can't go.
Definitely in the house somewhere.
Never, Bobby.
Might be a bit deep though.
Never,
See the ice tend to quicken up
Thanks, buddy.
after a few ends, but that is pretty good by the skipper.
Yeah, and great judge by Hammy McMillan, knowing that that rock was there all on its own. And when your third comes up a little short on his shots, that's the skip's job.
同じだ、7か8ぐらい。
あのね、あの黄色のね、内側ね、半分ぐらいになったら飛んでくるんだよね、中に。忘れるんだよ。ああ、なるほどね。白に書かれたら。
オッケー。
同じやわ。
同じちょっとあるよ。待ちたいよ。9。
Not liking the weight of this one, the sweepers. Calling this 8. Will that be back 8 or 8 as in back 4? Definitely heavy either way. It's just going to rub off and roll for second shot. So indeed, it will be the same draw for Bruce Mount again to score another skips deuce. Did so in the first end. Can go ahead and do the same here in the third.
Just scared to push that too much. No, I think you're okay on that.
Just making sure if they have backing.
Onto here.
The port is a bit snug, so it's tough to draw straight to the button.
Have you got the nose of that?
Wait, you've got an inch as well inside.
I think that's looking the easiest.
Yeah.
Who's shot?
We are.
Could just draw in, no?
Well,
You get here, okay.
yeah, I think that's there as well.
Okay. Throw for Cole, will I?
Yeah, give me.
That's the save.
That's fine.
Same weight.
Same weight.
Same weight.
So they're going to go with the same weight. This time they can activate those sweepers.
You can't really just hit hard top.
No.
Unless you're like 3/4, then you're fine.
Okay. Same weight. Same weight.
Careless. Weight's good though.
On you go then, Hammy.
Yep.
Cut.
Line's
hard
good.
line. Weight's good.
Hard line.
Line's good. Weight's good.
Whoa.
Weight's good.
Whoa.
Weight's good. Hard, Hammy.
Can even sweep this to the backing here. Will chisel off their own. I don't think push it too far though. Will set to score 2 here, Scotland. A perfect game plan so far. Score 2 force, score 2 back. It's 4-1 after 3 ends of play here in Las Vegas.
Good test throw.
ちょっと走ったかな。6号ぐらいで、多分8ぐらいの、8、9ぐらいの。13.9とか。
そうだね。
8。
相手のが13.9とか。13.3。ああ、ちょっとね。
伊藤ともそう。3でだいぶ変わる。
そうね。
さあ、3点だ。もう1点取って、2点上げて、1点取って、2点上げて。
上げちゃダメですよ。
上げちゃうんですから。
うん、
確かに。そう。
チャンスはある。うん。
ね、いけそうです。
Welcome back to the 361 World Men's Curling Championship here in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Orleans Arena. Listening to myself, Sam Didderlug, and I'm joined by Anne Swisshelm. So far, it's been a pretty good run for Scotland.
Yeah, absolutely textbook. Their hammer efficiency and their force efficiency at 100% here to open this game. And Koji Nisato, we get a look. His tournament accuracy. He's listed as their alternate. He's been playing quite a few games. It looks like they've hit a rotation that they're very comfortable with. But for Scotland, it's all about this lead here. 91%. He's atop the statistical standings for his position. You know, the interesting thing that's happening for Scotland here is that their third is not making a ton of shots so far, and Scotland is answering without much of a challenge at the skips position.
Let's jump on over to Germany, Korea. It is Germany lying 2 here. That's Korea and skip. Kim Chang-min will look to draw for 1. Increase their lead to 3-1. One of the favorites for the top 6, Korea. But they've had a bit of a rocky road so far. Lost a game to Switzerland on a burnt rock. It's really looking to bounce back from that. Try and win the remainder of their games. This draw is good, right on the button for Kim Chang-min. A 3-1 lead for Korea after 3 ends of play. Currently sitting on 3 wins, 5 losses, Korea, so can't really afford to lose much more.
Yeah, they need to hang on to that victory. And Ryotaro Shikuya trying to better the corner guard, the long corner guard thrown by his teammate. So they know that that long guard isn't going to be what is the difference maker for them. Scotland knows it's a troubled rock. So you've got Bobby Lammy. He's at 88%, and that's the #1 performing second in the field.
We'll go back to Netherlands, Canada. Canada lying 2, is it?
It's 2, and this is a precision draw needed for Jaap van Dorp to hold pace with Canada. He's got backing. He does have to navigate a rock in the top of the 8-foot, top of the 12-foot.
Well, a big sweep from the front end here to drag this as far as possible. I don't think it's going to get there. Just good enough for second shot, but still a steal of 1 for Canada. And they'll increase their lead to 3 shots to 1 after 3 ends. And quite a lot of Canadians coming in, more and more, as we get closer and closer to the playoff weekend. Almost have a feeling like not everyone felt like spending 10 days in Vegas. Maybe too dangerous walking through those casino floors for that long.
Yeah, 10 days in Vegas, that is pretty dangerous. It's also a pleasure for these guys out on the ice. The Orleans Hotel and the local organizing committee, fantastic hosts for all of the athletes and teams here. And for those of you who haven't decided yet, those last-minute weekend packages, come on down. There's going to be lots of great curling. And there's a new playoff format this year. 6 teams. There's 13 teams here from around the world, and 6 teams make the playoffs. We've got quarterfinals, and the top 2 teams get a bye to the semis.
Oh, well, that just means we'll get 6 really interesting games, 2 quarterfinals, 2 semifinals, 1 gold and 1 bronze game.
Yeah, it's a great format. And Japan navigating some rock placement yet again.
Well, certainly shuffles the redstones around here a wee bit.
Yeah, changes up the angles.
Don't mind that.
And for now, Grant Hardy being asked to remove the Yellowstone in the 8-foot try and roll. Buried underneath the Yellowstone top 12.
Nice barrier.
Touch heavy.
No, it's good.
Lead.
It's really good.
Yep.
Hard ball.
Hard.
Hard ball. Gotta go. Gotta go, Bob. Gotta go, Bob.
Long roll. Long roll.
Just over curling.
Whoa, whoa. You're good. Whoa, 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 whoa.
One. That rolls just a hair too far. And again, the production out of Grant Hardy stones is a bit of a challenge for Team Scotland. And after looking at the situation and talking to his front end, the Skip's changed his mind.
Well, J.D. Lynn always taking notes.
Yeah, thinking about what they can do, where they need to make improvements. And they're back to the original shot call. You know, the unfortunate thing about that is that took a ton of time off their time clock. 'Cause each team gets that 38 minutes of thinking time. So their clock runs while they're talking, while they're thinking. It's not a running clock. Once the stone gets put into play, the clock stops, but this has been quite a long time for Japan.
遅いかも。
Well, see if that is time spent well. Big sweep though from the front end here to drag the seal stone down towards this red shot stone in the forefoot, but this is pulling up way short. Can he get something out of it? Not much.
Think so.
Well, Scotland, I'll be pondering a bit. Let's hop over to Norway, Switzerland, where it's all tied at 3 points each. And it is Mark Fester, skip of Switzerland, looking to draw for one.
Yeah, he's got to navigate around a couple of stones, or the red stones from Norway.
Yeah, Norway lying 2, shot stone in the back 4. Do they curl enough? Get a big enough piece of the button? I don't think so. Just good enough for second, so that is a steal of 1 for Norway. They'll be up 4-3 after 4. As we see Scotland, they've made up their mind. I believe coming around those yellows, top 12. Really trying to put the pressure on Japan here. Big sweep by Bobby Lammy. Hammy McMillan dragged this past the yellows just about. What a sweep by the boys.
Incredible strength required for that sweep. Lammy and McMillan. And then they, you know, those deep recovery breaths, and the back end players, nice and calm. It's no sweat off their backs that the front end has just powered down the ice.
Well, I mean, the vocal cords take a strain.
Yes, they do. And you know what? The vocal cords help. We won't deny it. Anyone who's ever swept out there, you know when someone's yelling at you, you sweep harder. And Go Aoki, he needs real good sweepers, and they're on it right now. Nesato Shikuya trying to get around their own stone in the top of the 8-foot. Weight looks great. Oh, and they just tick. So close.
Yeah, and now could be big trouble for Japan. Scotland looking to remove that stone. Could make it very tough for Go Aoki to even score in this end. Might look to maybe just to play the nose hit here, take away the draw.
Yeah, there's no need for Scotland to roll at all. If they sit right on the nose, boy, Go Aoki has to either play some kind of crazy double run back triple takeout or draw around to the side of the pin to a spot.
Max, yeah, little heavy.
First, this needs to be made by Bruce Mowat.
Little heavy. Whoa. Hammy, yes.
Calling on Hammy McMillan to try and hold the line straight. Indeed, the nose hit. What to do now for Japan?
Nice, Bruce.
Nice sweep, buddy. Go good. Sweep.
れがねここで止まりそう
そう
な
だね。ちょっとね。そしてこれの方が強いから。こう行ったら。こう行けばいい。
いや確実にこう
こうでこれでこっち側でこう。
ワンチャンこれこうじゃん。
こうで。そうそう。
Okay, well, the team had their conference. Their options are the double run, triple takeout, or the draw to the spot. And they've gone with the double run, triple takeout for 1 as their preferred shot choice.
Do you think it's there?
You know, I hope it's there because it'd be really great to see.
What we do know is Goyoki can throw enough weight for this. He's not the biggest guy in the field, but he certainly has some thrust coming out that hack.
Yeah, absolutely. All of his momentum goes right behind the stone. You see it there with that extension. Really smooth.
Right, what do you have here? Goyoki, 1, 2. Well, he gets in for second shot. I think that's a pretty good effort considering the situation there for Team Japan. It's tough to do much better. But it is Scotland now slowly running away with the game. 5-1 lead after 4 ends.
Yeah, I think so. Playing with other you could be up to it, like a wee check in, forced to draw. You've got a heavy draw. I'm just saying that's hindsight. I think you could have done it
Nose against
to make a shot even harder.
What's that?
3. Past it.
We're far away, like. Yesterday,
No, this is good, like.
So if you look at it there, it's just above it, like.
Passed over 3, aye. Fisher knows it as well. Look at that. Look at his reaction. Out hand, aye. Yeah, me and Bob wanted to made it. She knows it as well. Look at that. Look at
There's a happy gaggle of Scottish fans in the stands as we get going in the 5th end of this game.
I'd say probably the prize for best chance usually go to Scotland. They'll have a few lined up.
It's really good.
Canada is always biggest in numbers, but not always with the organized sing-song.
Yeah, the Scottish fans are motivated. They are coordinated. They are super proud and super loud.
And all the reason to be. Only lost 1 game so far, and they're looking good to pick up another win here. 5-1 over Japan. It's going to be an uphill struggle for the Japanese side, but quite a few ends left in the game. Germany plays Korea. Alexander Baumann, skip of the Germans, looking to play an open hit to score 1. Close up that scoreline, down by 2 at the moment. Nothing on it so far. Walter just lightly dusting as this stone will indeed settle in for 1. Korea is up 3-2 after 4.
And in our feature game, Scotland puts stones in great position once again to open the end. And Koji Nasato now being asked to throw the double corner guards. Japan is down by 4. They need to make a move on the scoreboard.
No. Close. No.
Never.
And the single peel is executed by Bobby Lammy.
This one will slip onto the rings for Japan.
Yeah, and Shikuya again having a little bit of trouble managing the weight, but with that 4-point lead, Scotland's going to make sure there is nowhere to hide for Japan.
Well, Bobby Lammy's shooting 97% for clearings, peeling guards.
Tried for you.
he's,
I just tried.
he's pretty good. They were hopeful. Bobby was hopeful to get that steep double.
Well, if they wanted to play, they could have played the slash. Not huge risk in doing it. But Japan will be able to throw a guard and protect their yellow. Third shot on the wing. Pulls up a bit long. Well, Scotland peeled the guard earlier. We thought maybe they just peeled the guard again, but no. Grant Hardy will be looking to remove the stone in the house.
And he's okay rolling out of play. They prefer it. They don't want to leave anything to freeze next to underneath that long guard.
Ever guard were you first? You're last. Okay, so. Hey, you know you've got big enough weight too.
Well, that was my
No. No.
That was the athlete pool, wasn't it?
We can hear Scotland contemplating to maybe throw a centre guard. At least Hammy McMillan was asking Grant Hardy, do we ever switch gears?
Yeah, I mean, they are sitting absolutely on top of the button, in front of the tee line, above the tee line. And with that Japanese stone going all the way to the tee line.
So double takeout for Jaap van Dorp. Not sure whose third shot, if this is just for one or for two. Will make the double, but kills her own back red, so definitely only for one. Still a pretty good shot by Jaap van Dorp, but they'll still trail by the single point. Canada's up 3-2.
Grant Hardy nicely executed that takeout of the Japanese stone.
そうだね。動かさないといけない。オッケー。オッケー。オッケー。裏でいいんだよね。A プランは。オッケー。
And it's time for Japan to try and move the Scottish stones off the center of the ice, off the center of the scoring area.
Sit in front of me.
Yeah.
Nose, hair check.
Yeah, just control.
Okay.
Control down.
Good, good. Perfect.
Good week! The week's good! Good week!
Whoa. Gotta go, Hammy. Gotta go, Hammy.
Oh, through this a bit safe, Bruce Mowat
Edge of rock for control.
ends up rolling out.
Took that. Outside edge. It's okay, Bruce. It's a lot. Just too much ice point, Bruce.
8でいい。
9でも最悪吐けば入るから。
意外のが7だったよ。
8で抑えばいい。今日これ走ってる人。
いや、8や。
How to score your 2? That's the question.
ドローがいい。コーナードロー。
Do you freeze to the stone in the top of the forefoot on the inside? Do you try the draw under the corner? There's a couple of options. They all involve Bruce Mowat missing with his next one.
You can see the camera from the coach's bench. It's quite normal to see the coaches tape all their games so they can go back and view certain situations. As we do see Japan drawing around the corner, we'd like to sit quite high in the house here, seeing how that guard is pretty long. Just enough to get in for second shot, really. Fully buried. That is a pretty good draw by Go Aoki.
There it is. It's pretty well hidden.
Even if you could come after it, there's a good chance you might run that yellow onto the catcher on the wing. So I think Scotland's going to draw in the line too.
Half round here. Yeah. I mean, if you want, you can't play 12. It's there at 12.
Well,
if
he
you
might
want to
play
play.
skinny double. I know he's got to make it, but
Just thinking we're. Yeah.
And if you have to come here, it's like flirting with this.
I mean,
and it's
the 12 is there for fun.
Here.
The 12's there for fun if you want it.
It's tough, really tough.
Around it.
high side,
It's really tough.
You're past there. Right,
I think you're coming this way.
right here, boys.
Yeah, there or right here.
I know that's fine.
And there's
That's the other shot.
Dave Murdoch,
Yeah. Right there.
world champion,
That line,
I don't mind coming. I don't
silver
mind your shot.
medalist at the Olympics.
Yeah, there.
No, you can come back 4 or 5. I'm good. I'm fine with
He's
that.
one of their national coaches. He's taking a look at the situation.
Well, you only probably want to be here if we can.
Just more weight.
I'm fine with that, yeah. You want to be
Go
closer to that as we can, then.
too. Yeah, I think you're here.
Yeah.
Even back here is fine.
just got to be in the 8 foot, eh?
Yep.
Nice, Les.
Red.
Okay, Bruce, you're not too much more on your last, though. Just have to cut the feet.
I think that's max.
We're trying to get as close to that,
We're
right?
just off that line here, Harry.
All right, okay, so I thought we were trying to go in behind the yellow.
No.
Give me a hair, lads.
What's the call here?
Quarter. See what you give us.
Is it just drawing deep,
Yeah,
just so there's no double to stick for 2?
yeah, they're looking to draw deep.
Weight's good.
even if they level them up on the tee line, it's okay. This call gives them a window of success where you're trying to force Japan to a single point.
Well, this is coming up way short. So try and leave it as high as possible for second shot. That's going to work out just as nicely, really.
Yeah, they're the double is really tough. There might be a bit of a trick shot available if you but I think you lose your own. I think this is a hit. 4-1 for Go Aoki. Scotland with the excellent management of the angles and the options.
Well, if they didn't attempt the double in the second, I don't quite see them going for it here, even though they're 4 down. It will be the open nose hit for Go Aoki. Last stone, 5th end, down by 4. Hoping they'll only be down by 3 when they head into halftime. Sweeping this to keep it straight, looking good. Hit and stick, 1 point for Japan up on the board, but Scotland will lead this game 5-2 as the teams head in for a wee break. Chance for a snack and a talk with their coaches. They'll be back onto the ice in just a few moments. Scotland playing Japan first end. It is Bruce Mowat looking to score 2. Played a beautiful draw on the first one. Essentially a skips deuce for Scotland as this stone will settle in the forfeit. 2-0 after one end of play. Scotland does force Japan to score their 1 in the second end. And again, a skips deuce for Bruce Mowat. Good first draw. And the second looking pretty good as well. Sweepers just trying to hold the line. Gets a slight chisel off their own. It is a 4-1 game after 3 ends of play. Big trouble for Japan in the 4th. Go Aoki looking for the big shot, trying to spill as many reds as possible. Scotland lying 3. Well, certainly able to move some granite, but it is a steal of 1 for Scotland, up 5-2 after 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go over to Norway, Switzerland. Look at all those red stones in around the house. It's 4. In fact, for Norway, Mark Pfister needing to draw for 1 before halftime to tie up this game. Looks to need just about full forfeit. Brother Enrico and Rafael Marchi looking pretty happy with it, just lightly sweeping this one in onto the tee line. And that is gold for Switzerland. It's a tied game over there, 4 points each at halftime. And those are all the scores in the Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas this evening. Canada up over Netherlands. Our game is a 5-2 affair for Scotland, while Korea is up 6-2 playing Germany, and as we just saw, Norway, Switzerland tied at 4 points each.
see again. That'd be good.
They keep scoring. Oh, they're going to kind of try come hard, and then we're going to have counters, and then let's try and wrap it up.
Is that going top four, top four?
Absolutely.
I do, yeah.
ちょっとね、時間も使ってるから。
石の違いなさそう。石の速さの違い見てて。4番だけちょっと重くて曲がりそうな感じがしたから1投目に上げてるんだけど。
Well, let's take a look at the stats. You can see the total percentages for Scotland, quite a bit higher than Japan. And that also shows on the scoreboard, really, just better than Japan overall, just for draws and hits. And of course, that one stolen point as well, 5-2 lead. But there's still a second half in this game for Japan to turn it around. More curling to come here from Las Vegas. There are the Scottish fans, some of them anyway.
Yeah, and legendary wheelchair curlers Aileen Nielsen and Michael McCready enjoying the game. Aileen just back from the Paralympic Games in South Korea.
Yeah, the Scottish fans certainly outcounting the Japanese this evening, but this young side looking pretty comfortable out there, even though they are a couple of points down on the Scots. Looking for a centre guard here in the sixth end to get them going. We're going to need to put some pressure on Scotland so far. It's been quite the opposite. Go Aoki having to make some big shots to keep Japan in the game.
Oh, and see a little Hammy McMillan down a couple of percentage points from his average, but
It's really tracking. Take it back.
We're all right back now.
it's not been a problem for Scotland. But here's a little bit of a mistake all the way back to the back of the 12-foot. That's going to give Japan some options.
Well, we do see the ice technicians mop the sheet at halftime, put some pebble in around the hack. Sometimes you see the players just come out the hack a bit quicker, and the ice might speed up a wee bit as well. See that quite a few times this week, and also in past championships.
Yeah, so for all you young players at home, when you get out there for your first arena game and the ice technicians are taking good care of the playing surface, know that that sixth end after the break, the ice is going to get about half a second quicker.
I also personally might not apply to all players, but it does tend to get a little bit flat around the hack. There's a lot of stress on the ice there, so when they put that extra pebble on, sometimes you just come out the hack just a bit quicker as well.
Yeah, the surface feels a little different than you've been used to, and you make that adjustment, and the ice is quicker, and your rock slips to the back of the 12-foot, and that could be what happened to Hammy McMillan on his first.
We're really close to 14-2. Yeah.
He makes pretty good adjustment there. Maybe a little bit deep.
There you see the pebble and the ice.
So the ice is perfectly level. It's perfectly level, but it's not perfectly flat. So the pebble are little drops of water that they put down on the ice. It's what makes it possible for the rocks to move left and right, right to left based on the rotation in combination with the running surface of the stone.
And what would happen if the ice was completely flat?
Well, the stone would just suction down onto the ice. It would be very difficult to move those 42 plus pounds worth of granite down the ice.
Too much friction. It's kind of like if you ever played shuffleboard in a pub, that sand they sprinkle.
Yeah, when you're out of the sand.
If there's no sand, goes flat, nothing happens. Kind of the same in curling. Although the pebble does tend to change quite a lot through 2 to 3 hours of curling.
Yeah, one of the great skills for these players out here is managing that, knowing how many rocks have gone down a path, how much play has happened. So with each subsequent rock, the speed might change. At some point, the ice gets faster, and then after a point, you're wearing down the pebble too much, it starts to slow down, and your awareness, management, and adjustment to the ice surface really critical to your shot-making success. So Japan being pretty brave here. Lots of center guards, a long one, a tight one. They're forcing everything they've got as we take a look over at Netherlands and Canada. They're playing on sheet A. And the setup is pretty good for Canada. They're sitting 1 and 2. And this is their skip's last stone. Brad Gushu's rock being taken care of by Jeff Walker and Brett Gallant. They are just cleaning, and that rock goes all the way to the button. That's 3 points on the board. It's a 4-point lead for Canada after 5. When those rocks are a little bit close together.
3/4 is okay. I think it was like that. Wee bit thicker than that. Yeah, a bit thicker.
The double peel available for Grant Hardy.
Nice.
And that is beautifully executed. Perfect management of the angles, and Grant Hardy makes the double peel, loses the shooter. Here you see it. No problem.
Such a weapon to have on any team. It's kind of a weapon all teams really need, especially at this stage, at this level.
Yeah, and to know that you have it up and down the lineup for Scotland at every position, that up weight and that touch weight capability.
Well, one thing is acquiring points, taking a lead, but then it's also to defend that lead, just as important.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to put the granite into play, and you also have to know how to get rid of it when you need to.
Yeah, every end's not going to be all rosy, so you'll have to be able to bail out when needed.
Every end is not all rosy. That is absolutely true. And that's why we keep coming back, right? Because even though it's the same number of stones, the dimensions don't change. Every end is unique. Every end is a challenge on some level. And it is just, it's a beautiful thing though when you do get the rosy end.
Under.
Oh, Scotland does have a shot stone.
Oh, and they get the bonus.
Wow. Look at that.
Wow, when things are going your way. You know, some people would call that lucky. You got a little lucky there, but you create your own luck. And Scotland does a great job. Look at Bruce Mowat just waiting right there, ready to sweep that stone in. He knew it was a possibility.
That poses a new problem for Japan. Quite a few reds in the house. One lonely yellow, no guards. I think they're going to need to have a chat about this.
Yeah, and I feel like it might be a time for their coach to come out, but we'll see what they end up with. And young Go Aoki, I think, trying to play the angle tap. Maybe freeze down in here.
Well, not quite for Go Aoki. You see the first call for Scotland here. Maybe make the double on the yellows.
Third's still good.
That's what they're talking about.
What is it?
Third rock.
Double. Third still makes it.
Third makes it.
Okay, Bruce.
Can you stick it? You want me to play control?
You can stick it.
No,
Think so, Bruce.
no.
I don't know that Scotland really wants to stick it here, because that might create a pocket.
Well, if they can spin it up onto the 12 foot.
Well, no, to keep it around the rings is different than sticking the double. So I'm thinking you don't want to necessarily stick right there. But
What was it, quarter stone? Does that stick it?
I don't think you can stick it.
Don't you can stick it, okay.
Talking about sticking, I'm not sure if that is the main goal here.
Let's make it in.
yep, nope.
Get the 2 yellows, you'll be lying 3. It's pretty good already. Of course, if you can keep the shooter in the ring somewhere, could be pretty good as well. What does he have here? Bruce Mowat. 1 and 2, and will he stick the shooter as well? Of course he will. Spins that up to the 12 foot on the left.
Absolutely
Scotland,
beautiful.
they're sitting 4. Just perfect. Exactly what they were talking about. That's what you could hear Hammy McMillan was asking about. That's what he wanted to see, that shooter stick around, but not leave a pocket like you mentioned, Anne, but just spin away and leave as much separation as possible. Just beautiful.
Oh, and that's a little inside. You saw Go Aoki might have dropped his hand a little bit, but guys sweep it right away. Hold that line out of his hand. Did they sweep too much?
This make or break right here for Team Japan. This needs to be there.
It's got to be perfect.
It's not a bad try, but that's probably not good enough.
That is likely not good enough.
So how accurate do you want to be here, Bruce Mowat? You could definitely make the double off your own for 3, but you can also clean pick it. You score 4. Either way, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, the first responsibility is make that Japanese stone disappear.
Nice throw.
I think this is where you probably throw it to hit half a rock, and you can probably try and sweep it to catch it thinner if you're safe. No need to risk anything here.
Gotta go, Bobby. Gotta go.
On the way down. will indeed make that double. Should rolls out, but it's good for 3. Good shot by Bruce Mowat, and it's an 8-2 game after 6 ends here.
Nice, good job. Good boys. Nice. Good.
Top 4 through.
絶対1点取る、1点。何が何でも1点取る。
そう。
以上。
以上。OK。OK。
で1点取られたらもう一回1点取って終わる。とりあえず自分らが点取って終わります。絶対取って終わろう。球数足りなくても1点取られた。
最後までどうする？
最後まで足りなくなったらお前らやめろって言われる。
まだでもぶっ殺される。
9エンド目でもまあ1点取れればいいでしょ。
You're watching live coverage of the 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. We're in the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Our feature game is Scotland versus Japan. And one of the most exciting things that's happened yet, Team Scotland's making a player change. They've brought in their alternate Ross Patterson. Their lead, Hammy McMillan, is gone to the bench.
I like it. 95. Yeah, it slowed it here.
Line's good.
It's a set. Yeah, it's good.
This is the first rock of the event for Ross Patterson. That works out pretty great.
He has played the World Championship before. Ross Patterson back in 2016 played in Basel, playing second stones for Tom Brewster. Didn't medal on that occasion, but could very well do so here in Las Vegas. The team looking strong.
Yeah, and as the alternate, you throw a ton of rocks. They just aren't in traditional gameplay for the most part. Ross Patterson has been working night in, night out.
And Grant Hardy almost has a fall. As Ross Patterson will just throw this one away.
But he does get one on the statistical books, and it's 100%. And Koji Nasato puts a second corner guard in play. With that steep angle, you wonder if Bruce was going to go after the slash double, but he's not. He's going to be sensible, play the percentages. Bobby Lammy, a single peel. If he can get the steep angle, they'll go for it.
Underway, go on. Hard. Hard.
They do make the single peel. He'd love to have lost that shooter, but it's pretty far out in the wings.
Another corner guard peel for Bobby Lammy. His bread and butter. Won't be missing many of these.
Thank you.
And the German skip, Alexander Baumann, facing several Korean stones in the rings. He's got to draw to the full 4 foot.
Whoa, no backing, no backing. Back low. Mine's getting better. Whoa. Yep. You can't hurt it, you can't hurt it, you can't hurt it, you can't hurt it, you can't hurt it.
And there it is. Well thrown, well managed. Germany grabs a single point. They're still down by 3.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Hard. That's good, Grant.
センター越えてから越えるまでは結構厳選です。ちょっと入ってる。ラインもエースだわ。ラインエース。ウェイトだけ。4号。ラインハール。ウェイ。ラインはいいよ、ラインはいい。いいよ、ウェイトもいいよ。いいよ、ウェイトいいよ。ちょっとありそう。うん、ある。
Well, nice draw around the corner guard. Japan certainly needing to set up for a few points, which is something that Jaap van Dorp is not able to do here, facing 3 Canadian counters. Needs to make the draw to keep at least within winning distance of Canada.
Line for back.
D-line back 4.
Okay, close. Yep.
D-line.
Yep, line. Oh,
We've got Glasbergen and Hochman on the sweep, back and forth, on and off, which means it looks pretty good. Comes around that top yellow, onto the 4 foot. That is 1 point for Netherlands. 6-3 lead for Canada still though, after 6 ends.
Team Japan, they're going to try and use that Scottish stone. This is Bobby Lammy's first peel that did not leave the field of play. They're going to try and tuck one around, put a little bit of pressure on Team Scotland. So Masaki Iwai, counterclockwise rotating draw.
溜まってるよ上溜まってるよ
待ちたい待ちたいいいよ上溜まってるよいいよ白南にサウさんやったんだよイエスおいここまでここまでおいゴーゴーゴーゴーおい
Okay, nice shot.
Well, not able to fully bury that one, but probably takes the double away.
Yeah, that rock ends up in a pretty good position.
The other shot's this. Barrier
You roll right into the middle of them, it's pretty good. Like,
You've maybe not got as much as we
Got
think.
the whole thing, I think. I think it looks like I've got nearly the whole thing.
barrier, Bruce?
Control, I think.
Control.
Yeah. Just roll pretty close to on top, but if we show
Control.
Even if you roll right in the middle of them, it's pretty nice as well.
exactly. If I roll into it, it's alright.
Like a fraction of ice, or that would, like a touch more ice.
Okay.
Give me a hair more.
Hit half full, you're okay, Bruce.
Keep it heavy. 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 Heavy.
Not calling this heavy, so probably running a bit straighter than they were expecting. Didn't want to roll that far, but will actually end up sitting two. That works out for Scotland. Again, just having the breaks with them.
Getting the angles.
バックガードにしてちょっとそうちょっとこっちしたらでもステイしたらステイされたらもう死亡に近いから極力こっち
あ、オッケー。向かって右ロールです。
2は黄色
2は赤。
赤 OK
うまいんだって。
2赤かよ
あ
2赤かよ
あ、どっちでもいいよ。
And here goes Aoki. He needs a little hit and a roll. And this one is moving harder than they wanted. But it sits in a pretty good spot. And you got to wonder, is Bruce Mount going to take a run at the slash double, or?
Pretty close to.
It is close. Just nose and take your chances.
Let's roll a hair, but not much. Barrier?
Yep.
That same.
I think so, yeah.
Trying to figure out
Like you
if
throw the last time.
Scotland will actually be able to sit two with a nose hit. They weren't perfectly sure. They'll throw it anyway. Bruce Mount saying, let's try and roll just a smidge
Well, I played
to
control.
the left.
Guess we set 2.
Yeah, just a hair to make sure that they get first and second count.
Second shot, yeah.
There's no need to take any big risks here. Scotland is up by 6. They can afford giving away 2. Here we go for a thin double. Miss it altogether, give up 3.
Nice sweep.
Clean. Close.
Did see him under curl a shot down this line a couple of ends ago. For this one, he's definitely giving to the sweepers, or sweeper. Bobby Lamy trying to hold it. They will get that tiny roll.
Nice, Bruce.
Definitely sitting 2. And it is a maybe a chance there to score 2 for Japan.
Yeah, there is. This is their best opportunity yet. All they need is a double takeout. This is the path they just threw down.
Last stone, 7th end for Team Japan. Looking to pick up a few points here. Trailing big, really need a break here. Wanting this to curl a bit more, getting pretty close, but not close enough. And I think that might be even a steal for Scotland. Indeed, it is a steal, and that's enough for Team Japan. They'll shake hands. They've had enough. Very solid performance by Scotland. Team Japan just couldn't follow. The final score is 9-2. Highway to the playoffs for Team Scotland. They can definitely start thinking about maybe grabbing one of the top 2 spots and have a bye to the semi-final. Will improve to 7-1. We'll try and bring you some more coverage from the Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas. We'll be popping over to Norway, Switzerland. It's all tied after 7. By the conclusion of this session, we'll have some highlights and a chat with Bruce Mouat from our featured game between Scotland and Japan. So here we go, tied game, 2 blank ends up on the board, and 6 and 7 after that huge start. Steal of 3 for Switzerland in the first end, Norway scoring 3 back. Couple of singles, so currently playing in the 8th end. Here we go. Big game for Switzerland, sitting at 4 wins, 3 losses. Take a big step closer to a playoff spot with a win here, as they have Netherlands, Japan, Scotland and USA left to play. Definitely not impossible games left for them, but a win here would certainly do a lot of good. Norway, they're at 6 wins, 2 losses. Still have Scotland, Netherlands and Korea left on their plan after this evening. As we see Markus Høiberg, 3rd in ice skip for Team Norway. Just looking for the hit and stick. It is Norway with the hammer in this 8th end. Looking for the hit right back here. Switzerland to sit 2. And that's exactly what Enrico Pfister will do. Sits in the forfeit. Let's see if they want to make the roll in behind the guard here, Norway. Although there is a Yellowstone top 12 and 2 red corner guards pretty much angled straight onto it. Would be huge for Norway to score 2 in this 8th end. They do roll, but not quite far enough. Or did they? Well, can't see much after all from the hack here. And they're definitely looking at those angles. Just taking a look at all the scores in the Orleans Arena this evening. As we just saw, Scotland picking up a win over Japan 9-2. Elsewhere, Canada is up 4 points on Netherlands 7-3. And it's a pretty close game between Germany and Korea. Koreans up 6-5.
Ich glaube, es ist gerade zu viel Distanz, dass er trägt.
Aber dann müsste es aber sogar Schluss treffen.
Wir müssen es auch probieren. Schnell 3/4 Win.
Okay.
Ist das gut?
Ja. Schluss, so.
Ja, gut. Ich hoffe einfach, dass der...
Das da rausspielt.
Ja. Shooter der hochgeht.
Call in the end is indeed to play the run back on the corner guards here. Red, red, yellow, red. For Mark Pfister, skip of Switzerland. That is made. Pretty nice. Sticks it, but also keeps a Redstone in the house top 12. Tough part for Norway though. Might be difficult to run that back and leave the shooter in the house as well to sit 2.
Små liksom sticken.
Det går an den, eller stikken rett på. Hvis du ikke sitter igjen, så får du dra rundt etter sagt. Jeg har den, da. Ja, jeg har den her, altså.
I can see the Norwegian bench. Alternate Stefan Mellemseter on the left. Thomas Løvold, national coach, in the middle. And of course, Olympic champion Paul Truelsen on the right. All make up the staff for Team Norway here this year at the World Championship. As you can see the discussion, the Norwegian back end not liking the run back. Will actually just play the draw around the center guard.
Känner mer på dragning alltså. Jag ska inbilla mig kanske 14. Ja. Lite mer än full 8 SAS shot. 5,5 är perfekt.
So the draw is underway from Norwegian skip Stefan Valstad.
Må køle og sterke linjer. Linja er grei.
Linja bra nå, kom igjen.
This is pulling up. Not sure if they'll have enough legs on this to get it in for shot stone. Never mind the house. Missed opportunity.
That's a very difficult set of circumstances for Norway now. Switzerland now with staggered center guards with which to bury a stone.
Would love to steal here. The Swiss would probably be worth getting a good chunk of that button even.
Yeah, you want to be as Close to the center as possible. Above the tee line. You want to force Norway to have to move you in order to get shot stone.
Take a look at the rock clock here. Probably looking at somewhere between 14 and 14 and a half seconds for a draw. Although we haven't been looking at this sheet specifically tonight. It has been pretty consistent all across. 13.7, so that's probably there on its own, and the sweeper's not really touching it. Now actually bringing it a little bit deeper.
Yeah, just trying to, now you're just trying to bury part of it, and that really lets Stefan Wallstedt off the hook.
13-6.
This eighth end scoring, even a single point is so valuable. Now with that, Team Norway needs to make that adjustment. They came up short on their last stone. They need full forefoot, part of the button. And this one is running a bit. It's starting to curl, weight's starting to come off it.
Yeah, looking pretty good coming down here right onto the button. That is 1 point for Norway. An important one as well here in the eighth end. They'll lead the game 5-4 on Switzerland with 2 more ends to go.
Bra, jeg har 13-3 på den siste her. Jeg må ha faen meg ispilt her etter. Fritza seg. Ja, hun er fin, jeg. Fritza seg. Fritza seg på hier hin. Her er Fritza 4. Ja, aber man kommt så slik, så kan det ikke være greit. Du velger å se. Hij speelt fast. Ik kan vast nou goed zitten. Wachten. Het is maar heen, de rader moet zitten. En de vrouw en de rok zodat de kaart heen gedragen. Ja, vast.
.361 World Men's Curling Championship here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is Norway leading 5-4 as we bring you bonus coverage since Scotland picked up an early win over Japan in our featured game.
Yeah.
Here is Simon Gempler. He's been about for a number of years playing for a few different lineups. Done quite well. European champion with Sven Michael back in Stavanger in Norway.
Yeah, he also fulfills the role of vice skip. He goes into the house with Skip Mark Pfister calls those stones at the end of the end. His experience invaluable to Team Switzerland. Having an extraordinary game. One of the two Magnuses on the team.
Yep, certainly done pretty well. He will deserve a gummy bear or two, although I don't think...
is that the prize for playing well in Norway?
Well, it used to be a prize at a very fun competition back in the day, but I think this guy is a little bit more focused on the right type of nutrition and exercise. Very fit guys on the Norwegian team and the Swiss alike. It's becoming more and more a part of the sport, isn't it, Anne?
Yeah, it's absolutely critical to the success of these players. There are 13 countries competing here. They'll play a 12-game round robin. And for 6 teams in the field, they'll play bonus curling in the playoff rounds. That is a grueling week of competition. You can be on the ice for as many as 6 hours a day, more if you're practicing. It takes a ton of strength and stamina to make it through that week.
See Magnus Nedergotten, second for Norway, playing 84% for the week. No, he can probably have a 6th gear. He's playing closer to 90% last year in Edmonton. Hasn't quite found his top form yet, and this guard will not curl enough. Leaves a hole for Switzerland to get to the shot stone. Nedergotten, of course, representing Norway at the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang in the mixed doubles competition, picked up bronze. He's had a busy season. As we also take a look at Rafael Merki, brother of the alternate for the Swiss team at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, and both those, that alternate, Switzerland picked up the bronze and Norway picked up the bronze.
And Dominic is the brother of Rafael.
Yeah, this is Rafael Merki's first World Championship at the men's level.
Rent. Wow, av. Vart det bra? Wow. Azat. Tini.
Nice. Kom out. Yep.
Will be trying to come after the red stone in the 8-foot here. Try and make the roll in behind cover. He's trying, he's just not going to get there.
Yeah, that's just about the weight. Little up weight there from Rafael Merki.
So same shot for Markus Høiberg. Also at the Olympic Games. Himself an alternate for the Ulsrud team in the men's competition.
Not happy with that. You can hear his disappointment over the mics.
I had a bit of a conversation before the shot there, saying Nedergotten's stone was running it. It's a little bit straighter than his, so taking a bit more ice, but in the end, either too much weight or too much ice. Doesn't curl enough. Doesn't get that roll, and we're just building our way higher and higher up in the house.
Climbing those rings.
There's Enrico Pfister, brother of Skip Mark.
så tørner hold. Lose him.
Krillo. Okay.
No roll here either.
Svart vil ha. Samme. Yeah.
They all seem a bit puzzled by this. This spot in the ice has traditionally been finishing quite a bit, and you've got to wonder if that isn't just a little bit of, I'm gonna get out to that broom. And now all of a sudden, a little bit less ice and a little bit less weight. It is curling hard.
I think just a bit soft on release there this time from Heiberg. Got to give him credit for trying at least. I've seen 3 or 4 nose hits in a row.
Yeah, going hard for that roll.
Just trying to give it to the sweepers. That was all too much to ask for to keep that one straight, and leaves a draw for Switzerland. A blank looking very unlikely for the Swiss. They'll be trying to score their 2.
So Enrico Pfister hits the same spot on the ice. It's a completely different type of shot.
This is well wide.
Way out there. I mean, it's a bit heavy, but had that caught the curl, weight might have come off it a touch. Just overthrown. It's going to have to be a skips 2 if Switzerland is going to score 2.
Kjappe. Hår innom nå, sikkert, men. Sånn.
10-5. Og Markus var på siden nå.
Working hard to hold the line here, and they do so successfully. That's a nose hit for Alstead.
We'll see lead Simon Gempeler at the head as vice skip. Favouring his input tactically, but also maybe favouring his brother and Marki on the sweep.
Yeah, it's valuable for a skip to have steady input in the house, making decisions, and that's Simon's role, and also to have someone that you really trust next to you when you're about to get in the hack and throw, and that's his brother.
75% on the game so far through 8 ends. Well, only playing 50% on his 4 draws so far. This one also hanging out there. Did see Enrico's draw try. I think they're switching up the call here now to freeze the back one instead, and just didn't get the line for the draw. A little bit heavy as well. Ends up in a decent spot though for Switzerland.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot visually for Team Norway. It's tough to get out. There's a catcher on the other side.
Frys eventuelt bumpe litt.
Ja, absolutt.
Så det så ut som han traff her omtrent for meg.
Ja, enig i det.
Og jeg tror det er egentlig isen til å gjemme helt rundt den, så jeg er overrasket over at han ikke krøllet mer.
Ja. Det er greit.
Ja, bare
Hvis
med
vi tapper litt.
Ja, eller inn der jeg hadde først, du.
Der?
Ja. «13-6 og 13-7 av det, Markus. Han vil egentlig tappe litt, frys eller tappe for oss. Siste dragningen min der. Okay. Alternativet er selvsagt å være topp 4, så er det et greit resultat. Ja. Frysen ikke 8.
The freeze as the call for Norway here. Would just love for Switzerland to score a 1, tie the game, have Hammer coming home.
Yeah, and the added benefit to making this is if Switzerland should have a misstep on your last, all of a sudden you've got a 2-point lead. And this one's hanging wide.
It's coming though.
Is it got the line now? What a shot.
That is pretty perfect from Team Norway. Good throw, good sweep, good line call, everything. I don't think there's a shot for 2.
Here you see the finish. See how wide it is, and then just curves in right as it hits the house. Diving over right to the face of that Swiss stone.
Last stone in this 9th end for Mark Pfister to tie the game up. I've seen this spot a few times now, should have a good guess. Just threw it as well. You know what's going to curl in the end. Got a curl. That's what Gempler at the head says, but now needing to go for weight. The swing is definitely getting there. Can he carry it far enough? No. Left that for too long. I think that's a steal of 1 for Norway. Catastrophe, says Switzerland. Indeed, he gave up a steal. Probably could have had it there if they could have swept a bit earlier. So it is a 6-4 game for Norway. 2-point lead coming into the 10th end. The action is back in place here at the Orleans Arena for the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. Our featured game, Scotland-Japan, ended early. Scotland picking up a win. We've moved over to Norway playing Switzerland. Norway stealing one in the 9th end. They're up by 2. Switzerland with the uphill struggle now.
Yeah, it is a Swiss Alp of a mountain to climb. A 2-point deficit. It's the final end of regulation play.
Quite important to get these guards in place now.
Yeah, these are vital to the execution of the game plan for Switzerland.
Yeah, you can see Gempler using the sweepers on this one too. Might as well be safe with them. Are we thinking, you know, one stone in the house is good enough? We'll throw this second one away. How come?
You don't need to complicate things. You know what your goal is. It's pretty clear. You are going to start peeling as soon as possible, which is going to be with the next stone you throw. And actually, all things being equal, moving out from here, if you make everything, the worst case scenario is you've got an extra end. And winning in 11 is, it's just as good. It's the same as winning early or winning in regulation. A W is a W, and Norway really wants to put a win on the board.
Nedergotten looking for the peel on the corner guard. No problems there. Basically, if Norway can make all the simple shots well in this end, they should never give up more than 2. And because of that red stone in the forfeit, it's something Switzerland will need to deal with as well.
Yeah, they will have to contend with that at some point.
Linie war gut, nochmal länger. Gut, Trillo. Bist du zurück bis im Match, oder was? Ja. Wow! Rent! Rent. Rent. Ja, spill.
Spør hvordan Magnus føler at den satt den, Markus. Hæ? Det virket som det køla litt der. Spør han.
And there we go, some Norwegian fans. A very traditional Norwegian sweater. And of course the flag as well.
Yeah, that's great to see. It means so much for these players when there's support in the stands. It makes the wins that much sweeter, and oh, the loss is maybe a little bit easier to know that you are loved by your fans.
Oh, a huge miss by Høiberg. And you know what? Skip Stefan Wallstad just fed him some information just before that throw.
Yeah, talking about the line.
He was saying, ask Nedergotten the second about how he felt he threw that one, because I think it curls a bit down the spot. Maybe Høiberg maybe taking this, thinking about that a little too much before throwing, and has now missed it wide as we jump on over to Netherlands, Canada. It's the 9th end. Canada is up by 2.
And they're sitting 1.
Yeah, Really a chance to kill the game right here for Brad Gushu. It's not an easy draw though. Navigating past the corner and onto the button without touching that red stone top 4. Might call this a good bonus if he gets in there. He's taking his sweet time on this one. Meanwhile, we see Switzerland coming around the corner guard on our left.
An outstanding draw around the corner guard by Switzerland. Brett Gushu would like to have that kind of outstanding outcome for his last shot in the ninth.
The fans are clapping them on here as Brett Gallant and Jeff Walker is trying to guide the stone onto the button. Looking pretty good. Can they carry it far enough past the top red? No. Well, just a 1 for Canada, but they'll be up 8-5 with 1 end to go. Looking pretty strong still, as Norway now looking to draw in to sit 2, and that is through the house for Markus Høiberg. 2 huge misses from him.
Yeah, just struggling here in the 10th end.
And you know, that really brings the possibility of 3 into play for Switzerland to win the game right here, and that's why they're going to have a little talk.
Yeah, there's 2 corner guards up.
Nee, wieso dit? Nee, zeker niet dit. Dat er hier of daarna, maar zit er zeker 2.
Timeout is called as well for Switzerland.
So their coach, Robert Hurliman, making his way to the ice. He's going to work through these scenarios with them.
Fries. Net inget bra. Fries. Oké. Ja. Doe eens, dat we niet graag afspelen. Fries. Oké, is goed. Der Team, genau. Ja, stimmt. So auch, ja. So ist schön zum Legen. So, nu wordt de andere gehoord. Nee, we dachten maar gleich gehoord wie vorher. Ja. Ja.
So after the timeout, Switzerland has settled on freezing to the Norwegian stone in the back of the forefoot. You said they'd have to deal with that stone eventually, and this is a great way to do it.
Slight oversweep, doesn't get fully to the face there. We'll just jump on over to Germany, Korea. Korea up 7-5. That is it. Alexander Baumann looking to draw for 2. Setting 1 in the button just now. Walter and Schweizer on the sweep. Just waiting for the line. Ryan Sherrard at the house, calling them off. I don't think this is going to curl enough for the Germans. Weight was pretty good, just couldn't swing in enough. Just the 1 for Germany. They'll be trailing Korea 6-7 before the 10th end. A timeout is called for Norway. Thomas Løvold has come out.
Så prøver den å rulle.
Ja, altså, hvis den ruller, så fryser vi oppå, så vinner vi.
Ja.
Jeg liker den her.
Ja, det er vel det. Nei, jeg ser ikke noe annet.
Jeg vet ikke. Egentlig.
Det er å tappe den, liksom. Hvis det er på den siden her I det hele tatt, så har han treertempo med en gang. Hvis det spinner her, så dobler den også. Ja, og så må han spille.
Svart?
Jeg har lyst til å være sikker på å få den ut, I hvert fall. Men
8-5 eller 9-5?
Der?
Nei.
Jeg tenkte egentlig 8-5 der.
Ja, ja.
Men det føler jeg er veldig safe. Jeg er nesten redd for å rulle ut. Men ja. Klarer jeg å stikke den I den røde der?
Nei. Jeg er alltid ut.
Getting pretty close to the action here. I tell you, it's something else sitting that close to the ice. You can see the pebble so clear. So come on down to the Orleans Arena for the next few days. We'll be here all week as Norway's made their decision now to make the hit. Not going to think about sitting two. It's just about getting this Yellowstone out, leave the shooter in the house. Can't afford to roll out. That's pretty much what they were hoping for. Want to try and keep Switzerland to 2.
Yeah, at this point, you know, with the 2 misses out of your third, you have got to be happy that you're only going to give up 2. Switzerland, on the other hand, they've got an opportunity. They're talking about the hit and roll. There's a look at the time clocks. 2 minutes, 20-some seconds as the think time ticks down. That is plenty of time. It is not a concern for Mark Pfister and company.
Hoping to make the hit and roll behind the guard to set up for 3. Can't quite make it there. Norway was expecting them to do it. And they were saying even if that roll is made, they can always play the corner freeze, take the end away, actually take the 2 away. They might be able to do that still with a hit and roll.
Yeah, if you roll under cover, the 2 becomes very difficult for Switzerland. They've got to play a run tap for their 2.
Vær nære fra hogg og inn fordi at Markus sin knapt noe jævlig fra hogg og inn der. 10-5.
Well, objective 1, remove a Swiss stone. Objective 2, make the roll. Might have thrown this a bit safe here.
Yeah, but it's starting to curl a little bit.
I was telling sweepers it is expecting this to break a bit. Coming in towards the house, can they get a roll? Just a nudge. I don't think that's going to be enough, but makes it just slightly harder for Mark Pfister.
Jeg må springe på dass I tilfelle det blir ekstra omgang, ja.
Hva helt dyrere da?
Well, maybe a tad more buried than at least I first thought. Taking quite a lot of ice here, so just playing maybe hack weight at most.
Yeah, it looks like a hack weight shot. So half of that last thrown stone from Norway is undercover. Mark Pfister's last shot away. He was talking in the middle of his slide.
Will it break enough for Switzerland? They need 2 points for the extra end. Trying to make it curl. Will get to the red, tap it out. Will they stay around? Høiberg trying to sweep it. But alas, it will hang about for 2. We will have an extra end in this Norway-Switzerland game. A sigh of relief for Mark Pfister. It's all tied at 6 points each. We will never mind extra bonus curling at the World Championship. Extra end, Norway plays Switzerland. It was a good shot by Mark Pfister to score 2, tie things up. Although it looked a bit sketchy for Norway at one point. Almost brought the 3 into play. But now it's centre guard time for Switzerland. That's a pretty good shot by Simon Gempeler.
Yeah, just to trip that over the hog line as high in the field of play as possible.
And, you know, sometimes, or most times, you like that to be dead on the center line, but we do see some of these top teams throw it just off the center to basically throw off your opposition lead, just making it a little more uncomfortable, making these tech shots.
Yeah, you're expecting to see it splitting the center line. And all of a sudden, this is what you've got. And Norway goes with the Brooklyn. Not sure that's the way they called it, but once they had the face, they allowed it to cross.
Yeah, I also think they were looking to play that the other way.
Absolutely. So sorry, Brooklyn. We're calling that the backwards way. That
it's called a Brooklyn?
The Brooklyn, when you make it the backwards way.
Ah, okay. Don't catch the reference, but I'm sure you'll fill me in later. Another guard up by Switzerland. Just kind of grouping those yellows.
Yeah, maybe we can nickname that the Norwegian tick.
I don't think I would want that. Now you can see Norway now ignoring those yellows, seeing it's pretty easy to double on them and roll out.
Yeah.
So no need to really move them. a bit of a discussion here. They're thinking to maybe peel that red.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't peel the red. I mean, it's an...
Well, maybe they don't have enough faith in their lead to make it, because Heiberg was saying, well, think if you ever just tick it over and leave another center. As we see, Canada did in fact pick up a win, 8-5 over Netherlands. And that 3-point lead coming into the 10th end ran the Dutch out of stones. Another win for Canada, looking pretty strong. 7 wins, 1 loss. But Norway does end up throwing their second stone through. Switzerland only really needs 1 guard. But I'll be expecting to see a double rip on the yellows. So this shot could be a bit crucial. They would quite like a good shot stone here to guard for the end.
Absolutely. You want to be full 4 above the tee line. Maybe even biting part of the button. I mean, that's a really good stone by Rafael Merki. It's just not a great stone. You'd think that Stefan Wallstedt could easily outdraw that. And that's kind of what you're thinking there on that seconds first stone.
Yep. Hard. 12.
And this looks good for the double peel. He's close. Beautiful shot.
And we have another final. Korea picking up a win, 10-6 over Germany. As they'll move to 4 wins, 5 losses. Hanging in there, Korea. They'll be battling it out for that. One of those last spots in the top 6 with probably Russia and Switzerland. Potentially also Norway if they lose here. So a big game for both. Norway looking to pick up a 7th win and tag along with Sweden, Scotland, Canada on top to maybe get into that top 2 and get it back to the semi-final. While Switzerland just really trying to get into any playoff spot they can.
Yeah, Switzerland's really been clawing for every win that they've had. And this is another situation. The extra end, no hammer. And it's a team sweep for Switzerland. Every inch valuable.
Missed the peel in the 10th end, Heiberg this time. He will make the peel on the center guard.
Yeah, that's got to be huge for the 3rd for Norway. I mean, 2 complete misses in the 10th end. Switzerland definitely has something going here, though. Again, going for every inch of real estate that they can get. Great focus. Fantastic sweep from Rafael Merki.
Heiberg was asking to maybe play the double, but Skip Valstang happy to see the single peel. But now having to sweep hard to get it.
Disaster.
Yes, that is the correct word for it.
I mean, absolute disaster given the set of circumstances.
Timeout.
Timeout by Switzerland.
Switzerland calling the timeout. They're going to make Norway look at this situation for as long as possible.
Ich glaube, im Fall mein Intern gehört da hierher. Ja.
Ich bin nicht. Nein.
Hillo. Nein, ist verdammt schwierig.
Du kannst schon drin spielen mit dem Auto, ist ein bisschen mehr Platz.
Ich weiß nicht, wie hart das hat mit dem Auto.
Also spielen wir
etwa 50 hat es
auch.
auch.
Muss ein bisschen schleifen.
Da kommt er schon hinten.
Ja.
Mit der Runde gespielt hat, der ist da hier hinten.
Ja, genau.
Nein.
Er probiert es sicher.
Das der pickt er?
Ja, er probiert auch zu weisen. Ja, er muss wirklich hier sein.
Er muss hier sein.
Er probiert auch so.
Robert Hurleman will make his way down onto the ice again. The teams do get a new timeout for the extra end, and clock's being reset as well.
Ja, das ist ja perfekt, wenn wir hier sind. Hier ist es anders zu legen, hier hat ein bisschen mehr Platz. Ja.
Das Problem ist, hier habe ich gar keine Ahnung, wie lang das ist. Und hier habe ich ungefähr eine Ahnung, wie lang das ist.
Das schleift hier schon hinter, da kommst du bis hierher.
Ich glaube schon.
Ja.
Die T-Line ist ja genau hier versteckt.
Ja. Ja, es kann sein, dass er halt hier hinten rutscht, aber er muss
zuerst einen Freis bringen. Dann müsstest du schnell, wenn du siehst, dass er lang ist, müsstest du bis hier nehmen.
Dass wir nochmal Platz haben.
Nein,
Genau.
Platz
Dann gescheiter hier hinten.
Gut.
Ja. Ja.
So.
Ja.
Gempi so.
Ja. Oh, sacht.
Well, I think they're pretty much in agreement on what the call is here. Just come around everything. Top button, T-line. That's going to be a problem for Norway. It's tough to make it perfect. You slip it all deep, you might see Norway switch gears and come after it. Chisel off the yellow. You leave it in the open. But we have seen some good finish going this way.
Yeah, it dives hard into that far right corner of the ice. This is a unique set of circumstances. This is the only game left. It is the end of the day. As many rocks as possible have been thrown on this ice today.
Well, looking a bit hot coming in. Sweeper's not really wanting to touch it. Now trying to sweep it a little bit deeper, gets it fully buried. It's not a bad shot.
Yeah, back four is not a bad spot. If Norway freezes down on you, you freeze on them and you cover the button.
Yeah, that was an important part there. If you're slipping beyond the tee line, you need to go deep enough for there to be room for two rocks.
Ja, da drar han topp 4 til Smås. 13-7 har
You could play the run double, but you'd think a little bit higher percentage playing the draw. You could win the game right here with a good one. Could make it tough for Switzerland to get shot stone on the next.
And it's all on the shoulders of Stefan Wallstedt to put this rock into a close position and let your sweepers make it perfect.
Playing 86% on 7 draws in this game. See the raw clock as well. Probably looking at 14 and change maybe. Big sweep from the two Magnuses. 14-3, should be close here. Do they have the line? Do they have the weight? Want to get shot stone. And they do. And it's a pretty good spot for Norway. It leaves it partially open. But that yellow stone in the back four is almost a problem now for Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland is going to have to navigate their own stones.
What a sweep by the front end.
Great sweeping by Magnus Squared.
Oder ich tappe den hier so hingern.
Ja, Mensch, das geht.
Nein.
Ja, aber nicht das Gefühl, dass es geht.
Rausklären ist verdammt dünn.
Ja.
Das ist so dünn, das geht fast nicht.
Ja. Im Stehen mit, dann muss er nochmal ganz abgeben. Tap läuft hier drauf, und dann ist schon hier.
Ja, er läuft da.
Der läuft da drauf. Der läuft, kommt hier ein bisschen an.
Du bist ja dann gleich hier.
Ja, aber wenn der hier bleibt, wenn der hängt hier, dann...
Das Kleiner ist verdammt dünn.
Ja.
Er wäre geil, aber es...
Ja. Ja, musst du weniger als ein Viert.
Nein, das geht nicht.
Ja, geht dann.
Schon möglich.
Also, mit Tap. Hier bringt er nicht viel, oder? Vor allem was.
Probieren hier so zu tappen?
Ja. Kommst du genau gleich lang wie der. Ha.
Ja,
Weniger ist.
ich sag das vorhin.
Gut.
Es ist kein Zentimeter Luft für einen Tap.
Well, I mentioned how a good draw for Norway could win them the game. Well, already the first one, and by the looks of it, they might have. It's very tough for Switzerland to get shot stone here.
Yeah, and they're trying the tap.
Gut, clear. Es geht fast nicht, sieht auch nicht ganz.
And when
Streifen.
Mark Pfister sat in the hack and he saw what he was facing, he realized that the tap was likely not available. He's going to try and pick this stone clean across the top.
That would leave the same draw for Norway. Gonna have to navigate past the back yellow. Playing better on hits today, so you'd think percentage-wise, why not play the hit?
Yeah, and situationally, based on what he's looking at, this is his best chance to force Norway to throw that last stone.
Looking pretty close here. What's he got? A tiny piece. Will pick it clean right off the forfeit. Real good shot by Mark Pfister.
He did what he could do given that situation.
I think Stefan Wallstad has been preparing to play a draw for a while now. You see that, just a sliver of the red to punch it sideways. Liking that one.
Yeah, that's a big shot under pressure.
And speaking of pressure, it is all eyes on Stefan Wallstad for the last stone here in the extra end. Everyone watching every game, or every other game, has come to a conclusion. Big sweep again early.
They need full forefoot. It's about the tee line. It's gonna curl at the end.
Well, this is really pulling. I'm not sure if it's getting there. No, it is not. It is way short of the house. Not even close from Stefan Wallstad. Made the first one. Pulled the strings too much on the second. It's a steal for Switzerland, and they'll win the game. Huge win for Switzerland. 8-6 final score. And Norway drops their second game. Really important win for the Swiss to keep playoff hopes alive. And with that, actually starting to look pretty good for it. We'll move to I'll take a look back at the feature game this evening, Scotland-Japan. Taking a look at the second half. Sixth end. A decent freeze attempt by Japan. But Bruce Mowat quite ready to try and peel it out for a big score. Just playing it safe for 3 really. Picks 1 red, rolls out, but 3 points up on the board. Pretty good for Scotland. We'll take an 8-2 lead coming into the 7th end. Waioki needing the double to score 2 to have any chance of pulling this game around. Urging this one to get over, to curl enough. But in the end, it does not, so Scotland steals another point. Final score, a 9-2. Another win for the Scots. So those are all the final scores from the evening draw here in the Orleans Arena. Canada beating Netherlands 8-5. Scotland with that 9-2 win over Japan. We also saw Korea beat Germany 10-6, while Switzerland just stole the extra end on Norway, 8-6 final score. So those are all the standings so far through in around 8 games for all the teams. Canada, Scotland, Sweden on top. Norway can't quite follow, sitting now at 6-3. And Russia, Switzerland right behind, along with Korea. Those are the teams that will probably be fighting off for the top 6. And the rest looking a bit grim, but a 6-6 record could get you through potentially.
Bruce, congratulations on a fantastic win.
Thank you very much.
You yourself had an outstanding game. Did you do anything specific before this game to put you in that position?
Not really. I went to the pool.
Okay, speaking of the pool, how are you guys enjoying Las Vegas as the host for your first Men's World Championship?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, you walk outside and it's like 25+ degrees, so yeah, we're loving it here.
Okay, you've got 4 games left in the round robin. You're looking outstanding for the playoffs. What are your expectations going into these last 4 games?
Yeah, we want to keep the momentum that we've kind of built from the previous games, and hopefully we'll lead on to the playoffs at some point, but we're not sure at what point we'll know we're in the playoffs, because I think the board's starting to mix up a bit. So if we win a few more, and well, hopefully 4 more, then we'll be solid into the playoffs.
Yeah, you won't just be solid into the playoffs, you'll be solid into the 1-2 game. So good luck moving forward, and try and keep pace with your 5th man, who's at 100% now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, that is all the live coverage from the Orleans Arena this evening from the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. But it's really shaping up. Stay tuned for more curling action here right in Las Vegas.